Hey guys, it's me, Freddy Pop Collector, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of FNAF Model Comparisons. Let's choose to ignore that it's been 9 months since the last episode and focus on the rules, since I'm sure by now some of you may need a refresher. In each episode of this 4-part series, we will be comparing 7 models between Scott Cawthon, Illumix, and Steel Wool. We'll be discussing the fundamental key differences between each model, and then I will rank them based on how I like each of them from best to worst. Unlike useless FNAF facts, where between seasons I didn't repeat any old facts from the previous season, here I am allowing myself to revisit some older models from Season 1, either because I've found some new distinct differences, or they've gained a new model in a new FNAF game. Anyways, enough chit-chat, I cannot wait to dive right back into this series, so without further ado, here are 7 more FNAF model comparisons. Up first, we have Toy Bonnie from Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Illumix and Steel Wool did an excellent job mimicking Scott's Toy Bonnie from the neck below. Sure, the bow tie varies a slight bit between each model, but all in all, the proportions and size of Toy Bonnie's features are indistinguishable between each model. The head is where things start to get a little bit funky though. Steel Wool, for some reason, decided to give Toy Bonnie in FNAF VR a huge gap in his front teeth. It really doesn't look good. Luckily, the teeth gap was fixed with Illumix's model, but with Illumix's model came some more strange variations. The eyes as a whole are bigger and much more prominent. The irises also have this spiky pattern design. The seams on Toy Bonnie's ears also have a weird crease-like texture. The snout? Freckles, I suppose that's what you'd call them, on Steel Wool and Illumix's Toy Bonnie appear to be much more painted on, whereas Scott's seems to be 3D. The final difference I could spot is, of course, similar to Toy Freddy, the withering details on Illumix and Steel Wool's model compared to Scott's. My personal ranking would be number 1 Illumix's model, then Scott's model, and then Steel Wool's model. I bet you didn't see this coming. Next up, we'll be ranking the Minarinas from FNAF's sister location. Surprisingly enough, Minarina makes a quick cameo in both FNAF VR and FNAF AR. In FNAF VR, it's an Easter egg that can spawn at random times in the Plushtrap hallway, and in FNAF AR, it's an integral part to Balor's mechanic. Taking a closer look at their models, of course, it would be hard to mess anything up with how simple they are, but oddly enough, the VR model is missing shoes. Not an offensively insulting mistake, but still nonetheless a difference between the models. Another big difference is the textures. Illumix and Steel Wool's models look much more wooden-like, whereas Scott's is very matte-looking and plain. I think Steel Wool pulls off the wooden look the best, but unfortunately I can't give the gold to Steel Wool because they forgot the shoes. So coming in first is Illumix's model, then Steel Wool's model, and then Springtrap was one of the models from Season 1 I was most excited to revisit. Without doing any beating around the bush, let's tear Steel Wool's model to shreds. Okay, I guess that's not entirely fair. It is serviceable enough. Why are his eyes bright yellow? Where's all the wires going throughout his body? Why is there an abnormally sized gap in his torso? Why are his fingers so much bigger than his palms? Why is there barely any withering down by his feet? Even smaller things you don't even really think about, like his accent colors being so similar to his base colors, really make Steel Wool's model feel so off. But dear lord, did Illumix deliver. Weirdly enough, I find Illumix's Springtrap much more expressive. I think this comes down to the face shape. He doesn't look as creepy as he used to. He looks much more goofy, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The human remains inside the suit are immaculate, and the moldy texture layer they put on the plush suit is just While I do think the AR model is the better model overall, Scott's model is definitely my favorite. Something about Scott's just looks so sinister. He looks so reserved, and he gives off psychotic evil person vibes. The permanent smile and merciless eyes just can't be recreated. It goes Scott, Illumix, and Steel Wool. Sorry, buddy. Withered Bonnie's up next. Withered Bonnie is definitely up there for characters I want to be in AR, up there with Ennard, Funtime Foxy, and the Puppet, but unfortunately, with how Illumix is treating AR at the moment, it doesn't look like that's ever gonna happen. But hey, at least he has a model from Steel Wool, and we didn't get to compare him last season, so let's get to it. Right off the bat, the obvious difference, the color. Scott's model is much more blue looking. The exposed endo foot on Steel Wool's Withered Bonnie is extremely simplified compared to Scott's original. The joints, the seams, the proportions, the withering, you really couldn't ask for a better replica. Aside from the distractingly awkward dirt smudges on Withered Bonnie's torso, Steel Wool did a good job, but I still have to give the edge to Scott's Withered Bonnie. Maybe it's nostalgia, but those classic FNAF 2 renders just can't be beat. Following Withered Bonnie, we have Funtime Freddy, another model we missed out on in Season 1 and many of you requested to see. Funtime Freddy is currently the latest character to be added into FNAF AR Special Delivery from December 2021. Almost a year ago. Okay. Anyway, needless to say, we have a model from each company to compare. When taking a closer look, the first thing I noticed right away was the speakers. Some of the speakers seem to be silver, while some others appear to be black. This isn't just a lighting trick on the render. The Steel Wool model actually has a black speaker. I was 100% certain at least one of the companies would forget the tiny crease on Funtime Freddy's lower stomach, but surprisingly, no. All three of them got it. The final differences I spotted were variations you've likely already picked up on yourself. The eye color and design varies between the three, and the shades of pink and the accent colors changes in intensity, but overall they all look pretty similar and they all look like Funtime Freddy, so my ranking would be number 1 Scott's model, then Illumix's model, and then Steel Wool's model. You would be shocked to learn how many differences there are between Scott Cawthon's Phantom Balloon Boy and Steel Wool's Phantom Balloon Boy. First off, Steel Wool's Phantom Balloon Boy doesn't have legs. It doesn't have a nose either. This by itself is pretty jarring, but we're just scratching the surface, trust me. On the original Phantom Balloon Boy from FNAF 3, we can still see hints of his blue and red costume from Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but Steel Wool's Phantom Balloon Boy has a purple and yellow outfit. Weird. Steel Wool's Phantom Balloon Boy has the 2 buttons textured onto the shirt. It doesn't really look that good. And finally, as you can see, the withering is vastly different. Scott's withering has a much more stripe-like pattern and appears burned, whereas Steel Wool focuses more on smudges and natural decay. Do you really want me to rank these? Steel Wool's is obviously better. The final model we'll be comparing today is Plushtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's 4. All 3 models have Plushtrap's distinguishing features such as 3 segmented ears and distinct jaw, but that's about where the similarities end. First of all, something exclusive to Scott's model is the slight green in Plushtrap's lower teeth. Neither Steel Wool nor Illumix carried on this feature. Illumix's model, however, brought on some very interesting new ideas. First of all, Illumix decided to give Plushtrap gray irises. I never really noticed Plushtrap didn't have irises, he just had pupils, but I mean, it looks cool, I guess. The big difference was the stitching pattern. In FNAF AR, Illumix decided to give Plushtrap an insanely cool makeover and put stitches all over his body, so Illumix's overall was an insane improvement on Scott's. What about Steel Wool's?
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Okay, I'll say this. It looks like Plushtrap, but it does absolutely nothing to stick out in any way. Moving on. You can probably guess my ranking on this one. Number 1 is Illumix's model by far, then Scott's model, but Steel Wool's model... I just can't get over how lifeless and bland this model looks. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about these models in the comments below. And with that being said, that's gonna wrap out more FNAF Model Comparisons Season 2. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'm sorry I've kept you guys waiting so long for the second part. I mean, it's been 9 months since part 1. I am so sorry about that. I can't 100% guarantee you part 3 will be out in December, but I promise part 3 will be out by the end of January. I just have a lot of big videos coming in December, and that one, I'll try. Let me know in the comments below how you guys would rank the models I compared today. It was a close race between a lot of them. Except Steel Wool's. Also, thank you guys so much for 84,000 subscribers. That puts us at roughly 16,000 subscribers away from 100,000. We're gonna do something incredible at 100k subscribers. I'm not really sure what to do yet. I haven't really thought about it that much. We're not even at 90 yet, for crying out loud. But anyways, with that all being said, that's all I have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you're new. I promise part 3 will be out within 2 months. I guarantee it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.